Thank you for joining Paper Crafting with Tracy. Today I'm going to show you another fun fold card. This one here. Okay, and you can see there. I honestly can't remember who I cased this off of. It was quite a while ago and I can't find the post anymore. So I apologize to the person that I cased it from. I would give you credit if I could find your page again. So we're going to start off with a piece of basic white cardstock. Our thick cardstock, and we're going to score it at our usual 4 1/4 down the middle, but then we're also going to do it 2 1/8, so that when you fold it back like so. Okay. So I also took 2 pieces of white, as you can see on the inside, and they are 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, and I embossed them with this Countryside Blooms embossing folder. Okay. So I've got those here. So I will adhere those first, because I need those on before I can kind of finish the floating part of the card. Oops. It's a new tape gun. Or I just refilled it, I should say. So when you refill it, you quite often have to advance it. Oops. Can't see what I'm doing here. So you're just going to adhere both of those on. And because these are both narrow, you can actually put them in the embossing folder at the same time. I'm going to then adhere my DSP, and I'm using the DSP from the Countryside Inn. Okay, you can see all the different pieces. I have used it before when I've demonstrated some cards. So this time I'm going to use this piece here. It's a little bit different than the one that I did on this one. So I will adhere that. And that's what the other side looks like. Oops. I just love this DSP Designer Series paper set. Navy is one of my favorite colors. Now, before we adhere the inside floating piece, we need to stamp it. So the inside white, okay, is just a piece of 3 by 4. And I'm going to use the Layering Leaves stamp set and the So Happy to Celebrate You. I'm actually using a couple different stamp sets for this one, just getting different sentiments that I needed. And I just need a block, and I used Night of Navy. And I just like the contrast of Night of Navy with the white. I just find it really pops. Okay, bring that down where I can see it. There we go. Now I am going to need that Night of Navy again. I might as well finish my stamping, so we'll just put that aside. I'm going to take another piece of basic white cardstock, and this time it's 2.5 by 3.5. And we're going to use the Two-Tone Flora stamp set. I've used it before in a previous one. So we will Get the flower on there. And I start with the base of it. And I'm going to use Balmy Blue. Oops. Stamp is not quite centered there. There we go. Link it up. And it's okay if it's not completely perfect. So I'll stick that a little bit closer to the top. Okay, I actually might have offset stamped it. So you know what? I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to off stamp. And actually I can tell that I did because there was my scrap from before. That's how I did it before. So just remember, paper always has two sides. And then I will get the outline. And I did that in Night of Navy. Okay, so you just want to kind of, it doesn't have to be completely perfect. And you can see how that really pops. And now I will just get my sentiment. And for the sentiment, I am using Go-To Greetings, which I have used many times before. I just love the sentiments in here. And we'll use Happy Birthday again. Just get my block here. And again, I just stamped with the Night of Navy to make it pop. There we go. That's all the inking and stamping, so we'll just get all that out of the way. I'll adhere this to the base, which is just a piece of Night of Navy cardstock, which is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Okay, but do not adhere this to your card yet. We need the bottom one in first. Okay, so that's done. That's done. Now you need a piece of white cardstock, and it's 2 1/4 by 3, and you're going to score it at every 3/4 of an inch. So it's scored at 3/4, 1 1/2, and 2 1/4. So just fold it, and then fold these two inside, like so. And what we're going to do is, what I find easier is if you fold those in, you're going to adhere these two right in the center so that your center line there is lined up with the center of your card. And it's just going to sit like that. So I made a whole bunch of these for a swap, and it was fairly easy. It wasn't as time consuming as you would think. So just line it up with the center of this little piece with the card, with the center fold of the card, like so. So that when you open it, you can see, and then it'll fold closed as well. And that's the hardest part. So now I'm going to put some adhesive on this piece, because that's the piece this is going to adhere to. And you don't want to put it right completely up against, because you want it to be able to move a tiny bit. So just leave a slight gap. I'm just making sure that it's all even where I want it. I think I'll come up a tiny bit. There we go. Adhere it down, and now you can see how that is now floating. So then we're going to adhere this one. So we're only putting tape on one side. Okay. Oops. There we go. And what I found the easiest thing to do is to close it and then line it up, because this is smaller than that one there. And I just wanted to kind of line it up so that it was framed. So it looked like it was part of the matting. And there we go. And now we'll just add a little bit of bling. So I'm going to use these in color pearls. And I think I'm going to use the Starry Sky ones here. There we go. And that's the end of this fun fold card. Okay, so it's like so. So I hope you enjoyed this edition with Paper Crafting with Tracey. Please subscribe to the channel, and happy stamping.